Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center. Sorry, to the world of magic and miracles and beyond. It's a beautiful, warm day here in Santa Barbara. So these friendly flies love to come visit on these days. I know that David Best, whose broadcasts from this seat every Friday, has been reading from The Magic of Life, the most beautiful, amazing book by Robert Young, and putting it out on YouTube. I think he just completed the first volume. And one of the most striking parts, I'm not sure why even, I think it was probably the introduction of Simeon, when the main character of the book is walking into the trees and there's this mist that comes. Oh no, it's even before that. Anyway, ever since reading that, every time there's a mist, that's where I'm transported to that magical place. And I was reminded today as I'm driving here and I'm going through the pass called Gaviota Pass, as you're coming out to the ocean, it was hot in blue skies where I was driving from, and I get to the mountain that the road cuts through. And you know, when there's fog that's coming in from the ocean and it sort of breaks apart, so you get little pieces that were up on the mountain in front of me. It just brought me right back to the magic of life. And then as I pass through the mountain, there's more mist, but it's broken up. So there's sun and piece of cloud and sun. And then I felt like I was on an airplane when you're either taking off or you're coming down for a landing and you're passing through the clouds. And there's that sensation that I only remember from an airplane, but I got it today driving. And so much of the coast along the ocean was covered in mist, and then it would open up and be sunny. But I knew there was something really special happening. Don't even know if it's necessary to describe it to you, other than the fact that the industry of magical miracles is growing leaps and bounds through all of us every day. And the mist reminds me of all the beings that exist with us here on planet Earth, in the outer reaches of the universe, everywhere, seen and unseen. And I can't begin to describe the excitement of this time because of all that's happening. And the beings that I'm talking about, they're everywhere. My gosh, there must be millions of them, different kinds, shapes, sizes. And they also come in the form of our animals here. And again, seems like continually now, where I work, as I interact with people, I get more and more confirmation of all this amazing magic that's coming in. I'm with children, with like driving a mother and her 2 boys the other day, and they get in the car and boys are being boys, and she's getting a little frustrated with them as she's trying to control uncontrollable boys. And I get involved in their conversation about a bird, a really unusual bird, which brings me to share my story about a sea lion from many years ago here on the beach. I spent 3.5 hours hanging out with a sea lion, with other people coming to experience her and actually touch her. I don't know that that's going to ever happen again, but it was like petting her like she was a dog, and she was loving it. Anyway, it was an amazing experience, and I still have video on my phone, and I was sharing it with the boys, and the first thing out of the young boy's mouth was, "That was an angel." And next thing I know, I think it was the boy that started to share his mother's story, and she was reluctant to share it, but he kept egging her on to share the story with me. So she finally told me about something that happened to her, I'm assuming many years ago, where she was in a very bad car accident, and it was nighttime. And she said she was thrown something like 150 feet out of the car into the forest. It sounded like into trees, and it was dark. She said she broke both her legs, her neck, and they went looking for her, and she said like a lamp appeared in the forest out of nowhere, right near her, and that was how they found her. And then the lamp disappeared. So here she shared with me another magic story of the beings that are always here, coming here to look after us. And it's not necessarily something that's easy to share. It feels like, I think people can be reluctant because, it could be interpreted as a whatever, not a great story. It was incredible. And the fact that she shared it with me and her boy encouraged her to do so was just magic for me, because the more we share our miracles and the magic, the more it becomes alive and grows. And it gives you this feeling that's indescribable. I've heard so many stories, but when you feel that moment, when beings show up from somewhere else just to look after you. And I actually know this has happened to me probably 1,000,000 times in this lifetime in various ways. You can just feel it when they show up. It's quiet. There's no fanfare. They just sort of slip in, and suddenly you feel you have someone looking after you that's come out of nowhere, just in the moment when you need it the most. So from there, it's just time to take off again. It's like you're standing on the edge of a cliff The beautiful ocean is out in front of you. You have your wings, and you spread your wings, and you take a step, and you're flying. As the hummingbird speaks over to my left, it's amazing how the birds here, every one of our broadcasts, they come in, different birds, different songs, different moments, but they have this amazing way of joining us in our transmissions. It's like they're adding their music to our song. And I do believe angels come in all forms. They come through the animals and the birds. This last broadcast of Simeon's yesterday, again, he spoke of the angelic realm, the zone that he invited us to walk into at the very beginning. And just as he was doing so, the birds, the ones with the most magical voices began. It was like they were, I don't even know what it is. They weren't singing, they weren't speaking. It was somewhere in between. This musical, magical light feeling that they bring. And the fact that we leave our magic wherever we go is so brilliant to have brought to our attention and our awareness once again. The thought of we're sitting in a chair, perhaps we're sitting in a restaurant, and as we get up and leave, we leave that little bit of magic behind, and the next person that sits down feels it. It's just an amazing thought. And it's more than that. It's the presence. It's our presence here on planet Earth, without reason, it's just something that we do. It's what we're here for. It's to live life, keep expanding out more and more, traveling further and further in that sense of absolute freedom as we collect our gifts, as we fly through the stars, and even the stars respond to us like a smile. To be able to just stay in the lightness of that, in the joy of life, and of our beautiful and gentle interactions with each other, with nature, and with all those amazing beings that are always with us. The sparkles just continue. I'm seeing clouds of sparkles, like sparkle dust, like fairy dust. And every one of them lights up and goes to where it's needed, like magic. And I even got to experience how this works in our physical bodies as well. How when you bring your magic, and again, it's not a thought, because thinking, it's usually you're trying to fix something. I've been there many times. But when there's something that's misbehaving in your body, and it could be very painful, and you're trying to fix it, that's not usually where it comes from. But it was magic the other day. I went from being in excruciating pain in my hand one day to the next day it was gone. And there was a beautiful broadcast in between by Simeon, specifically at one point referencing how we could bring the magic into our own bodies, into the physical body. And it was done without thought. I hadn't thought about it, actually. And next thing I know, the pain was gone. Magic. If there's an openness, and if you want to experience the joy of this beautiful life, it is all there, available to each and every one of us, every moment of every day. And I just see the smile on so many faces. I don't know that there's anything more beautiful than the smile from one being. When I look at the flowers, the way these look behind me, it's like they're smiling. To me, that's what, when a human being, when one of us smiles, it's even more amazing. So don't stop smiling. As you experience more and more new moments, new experiences, you may be surprised what's coming next. And on that note, I send you, as I wish you each, the most perfect life, perfect health, and magic future. Thank you.